Hello everyone, welcome back to my short story series. Today we're continuing with Aesop's Fables, and the one I have for you is The Lion and the Mouse. This was one of my mum's favourites. She always used to tell this story when I was a kid. So it's really one of the very well-known ones. Now today I'm going to read you the story. It's very short, just one page of A4. Then I'm going to explain that new and interesting vocabulary. And finally, we can discuss the meaning of the story together and what it means for us. Before I start, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell, and you'll find out about all my future videos and you won't miss any, which is important. If you like learning English through stories, as well as learning English grammar and vocabulary, then you must subscribe to English with Archie. Thanks for joining me today. Lovely to see you again. Let's get started. So, the story goes like this. A lion lay asleep in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Roused from his nap, the lion laid his huge paw angrily on the tiny creature to kill her. "Spare me," begged the poor mouse. "Please let me go, and someday I will surely repay you." The lion was much amused to think a mouse could ever help him. But he was generous and finally let the mouse go. Some days later, while stalking his prey in the forest, the lion was caught in the toils of a hunter's net. Unable to free himself, he filled the forest with his angry roaring. The mouse knew the voice and quickly found the lion struggling in the net. Running to one of the great ropes that bound him, she gnawed it until it parted, and soon the lion was free. "You laughed when I said I would repay you," said the mouse. "Now you see that even a mouse can help a lion." So, that's the story. Now let's go through and look at some of the vocabulary. A lion lay asleep in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. So to lie asleep is another way to say to be asleep, because to lie down means to be flat on a bed or on the ground. So to lie asleep is to be asleep. And this is the past tense, lay asleep. His great head resting on his paws. Resting on his paws. Remember, paw or paws is the word we use for the feet of many animals, like dogs, cats, bears, tigers, lions. All of those animals have very similar kinds of feet, and we call those feet paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly. So if someone's timid, it means they're nervous or shy, they're not confident. So this mouse was scared and nervous, it was timid. And it came upon the lion. If you come upon something, this is a phrasal verb, and it means to find something that you don't expect to find. So, for example, I was in the forest walking and I came upon a house. So I found something I didn't expect to find. So the little mouse came upon the lion unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Now fright is from the same word as frightened, frightful, etc. So in her fright is a really nice way to say she was scared. In her fright. And haste to get away. Haste is speed. If you have great haste, then you are very fast. So in her fright and haste to get away, So while she was really scared and running as fast as she could to escape the sleeping lion, she ran across the lion's nose. So I think maybe that was an accident, or it was the quickest way out of there. Maybe she was so scared and panicking, and in her haste she ran across the lion's nose, which maybe wasn't a very good idea. Roused from his nap, the lion laid his huge paw angrily on the tiny creature to kill her. Now if we're roused, it means we're woken up. So the lion was roused from his nap. You might be roused from your sleep, etc. And the lion laid his paw on the mouse angrily to kill her. "Spare me!" begged the poor mouse. Now if you ask someone to spare me, it means, please let me go, please don't kill me. If someone is going to kill you and you ask them to spare you, it means to let you live. So you might see this in old films where you have a king or a queen and they want someone to be killed. And the person says, "Spare me." And the mouse begged. And when we beg, it means we put our hands like this and we get on our knees and we look up. "Spare me," the mouse begged. "Please let me go, and someday I will surely repay you." Now if we repay someone, normally that means they've given you money and you give them that money back. But you can also repay a favour. So if someone helps you or does something nice for you, you can repay that favour. You can do something nice back, or you can do them a favour or help them. So the mouse says, "I will help you in the future when you need help." And here the mouse says, "Surely I will repay you," which is a little odd because surely usually means probably. "Oh, I'll probably repay you." That's probably not a good thing to say to the lion. So I think the mouse here means it is sure, it is certain that I will repay you. I will definitely repay you, lion, okay? Please. The lion was much amused to think that a mouse could ever help him. So just like our last story, The Hare and the Tortoise, we have this phrase, "was much amused." And this is the same as "was very amused." And if we're amused, we find something funny. So he found it very funny. He was much amused to think that a mouse could help a lion. And I understand what he means. I mean, a lion is so big and powerful, how will he ever need the help of a mouse? But he was generous, and finally let the mouse go. So if we're generous, usually it's to do with money, and it means we're very kind. So if I give someone lots of money, maybe I'm being generous. Or if someone shares their food with me, or lets me stay in their house for free, then that's really generous. Here the lion is generous because he gives the mouse something that the mouse wants, to be free. And he doesn't have to. He could eat the mouse, he could kill the mouse, he could play with the mouse, but he doesn't. He is generous and he lets the mouse go. Some days later, while stalking his prey in the forest, a few days later, while stalking his prey in the forest, stalking your prey means to walk after, silently, the thing you are hunting. So the lion was stalking his prey, so he was walking after something he was hunting, maybe a deer. If you're a hunter with a gun, you also can stalk your prey. So it's something we do when we move very slowly after the prey we want to catch. The lion was caught in the toils of a hunter's net. Now this is a very old expression. I wouldn't use this, and I don't think I've really heard many people use it. But to be caught in the toils of something means to be caught in a trap. So you're caught in a trap, you're caught in the toils of the man, or caught in the toils of a trap. Someone has trapped you. So he was caught in the toils of a net being ropes or string that you cannot escape from. Unable to free himself, he filled the forest with his angry roaring. So he was not able to get out of the net. And he filled the forest with roaring, so he roared, like a lion, when they make that sound. He filled the forest with roaring. The mouse knew the voice and quickly found the lion struggling in the net. So the mouse thought, oh, I recognise that voice. I'm going to go and find it. It's the lion. And he found the lion struggling in the net. When we struggle, something's difficult. And if you're physically struggling, it means moving, trying to get out of something. You can also struggle in a fight. So when you're fighting against something, if that's a person, an animal, or if that's a net that's around you. Running to one of the great ropes that bound him, she gnawed it until it parted, and soon the lion was free. So running to one of the great ropes. So one of these ropes over the lion, the mouse ran to it, and it's great not because it's fantastic, but because it's big. Sometimes we use great in English to mean very big. He lived in a great mansion. She gnawed it until it parted, so to gnaw something is to chew it with your teeth. So gnawing is what we do if we have something really, really hard to eat and we have to gnaw it. Usually it's something that animals do with their food. They gnaw their food with their front teeth. You laughed when I said I would repay you, said the mouse. Now you see, even a mouse can help a lion. And that's the end of the story. So, let's talk about the message or the moral of this story. The moral is that special word I was talking about in the other Aesop Fables videos. And the moral is a message or a lesson that the story teaches us. The most important part of the story. It's like the core, the centre of the story, the heart of the story. What does it want to say? What do you think? What do you think this story wants to teach us? Well, there is one more line of the story that I didn't read, and it says, "A kindness is never wasted." So, if we are kind to someone, no matter who they are, it is never wasted. It will always come back to us. So I suppose it's suggesting karma. Karma is that Buddhist belief that people often talk about. If you do something good, good things will happen to you. Or if you do bad things will happen to you. So I think this is a kind of karma. If you do someone favours or if you help people, then that help will always come back. And I think another really important part of this is that the lion thinks that the mouse could never help him. The lion is strong, the lion is powerful, the mouse is tiny. The mouse doesn't have anything, any ability that the lion doesn't have. But the lion is wrong. Of course, the mouse helps the lion. The mouse does something that the lion couldn't do. The lion couldn't break the ropes because he was too big. He couldn't get his mouth around the rope, but the mouse could help him. So I believe that part of the message is that everyone has something to offer. Even if we have less than other people, if we are smaller, if we are weaker, if we don't have the same skills, we still have something to offer. We still have opportunities to help other people. And so the other way around too, we should never look at others and think, I don't need their help, because you never know the situation you will be in. And we should always value the skills and abilities that everyone brings to the table. Now, to the side of me is some of the important new vocabulary from today's lesson. And here are some sentences with some gaps. I want you to try and complete these sentences using this new vocabulary. And write the answers in the comments below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and check out one of my other stories. I'll tag one here, and also there are more in the description. Thank you very much for joining me today. It was great to see you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye!